I made a huge mistake. I hit the bong so much that I literally didn't even feel it. It was like 5 or 6 tabs of D. I just wanted to feel like I was flying. How did this happen to me?
You may not know who this man is, but collectively, he has made engineers millions, if not billions, around the world, and has changed the accessibility of software engineering forever. His name is Navdeep, but online he goes by NeetCode. I have to spend a lot of time with NeetCode. This is because he teaches data structures and algorithms, which is something that is required to be a software engineer. This entire video is just something I'm giving back because I really appreciate him and everything he's done for engineering as a whole. It's my dream to make engineering accessible for everybody and to make it so that you can improve yourself through engineering. It would really mean the world to me if you subscribed to this video and if you left a like or a comment talking about how engineering has changed you. Here's the really interesting thing. You might have expected NeetCode to come from a very prestigious and rich background where he had the best education and the best possible tools to succeed, but no.
We were poor and we definitely knew it. I remember as a kid, I was like playing outside and then I fell. I looked down at my knee and it was bleeding. And the first thought I had was, damn, my mom just bought me these pair of jeans and I already ripped them.
NeetCode is pretty much left with one choice. Go get an education, go get a high-paying job, and support your family. Even with the background he had, even in the situation he was in, he was able to overcome pretty much all the obstacles that were set in front of him and get to an internship and a full-time role at Amazon. So NeetCode starts working at Amazon and his manager says something that you probably would never ever want to hear from a manager on your first day. The team's feeling a little burnt out right now. Try not to ask too many questions. And that is a soul crusher right there. That's like, what's going on? What did I do to make this happen, or how can I fix it? And almost you feel like you can't do anything because it's a pretty helpless situation already. So he starts working there, he's at Amazon, and eventually he just gets to this point where the anxiety is too much. He worked literally his entire life for this opportunity. He's doing the thing and he just can't perform. He can't write code. He can't sit at his computer. He just gets anxiety attacks and he just can't do anything. And so what do you do in this situation? Do you try overcoming it with some sort of strategy, some sort of skill? Do you talk to people or do you just give up? In his situation, he gave up. And I'm not saying that was the wrong thing to do. It's that he did. And that understanding that a guy who is as talented, as professional, and as giving as NeetCode can also fail is something that's really important to understand. And as the son of an immigrant myself, as somebody who has felt this emotion myself, it's hard for me to say this story. So NeetCode, unfortunately, resigns from his job at Amazon because he can't handle the pressure that's mounting him and just affecting him throughout his day. He explains that he can't even sit down at his computer to solve regular problems or just can't sit down at his computer at all. And at a certain point, he gets super depressed to the point where he's asking and telling himself that if only he had one more chance or another life, he would make his family proud. NeetCode starts taking drugs, starts, not doing anything, basically just becomes an anxious wreck where he doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, just doesn't live life and just kind of rots away. And this is not like a short period of time where he comes over and he recovers and everything's fine. No, this is weeks of his life where he's rotting in bed, just pretty much holding on to the last grasp and strand of life that he can through persistence, willpower, maybe a fear, but he's just not in a good spot. And one day he does something that changes his life forever. He takes a really big tab of, and as a biomedical engineer, I know this, it literally affects and reconstructs the proteins and chemicals that are in your brain. It will completely degrade, I forget what it is, maybe it's a serotonin receptor or something like that. It will break a part of your brain forever. So he takes this drug and he takes a lot of it to the point where something changes. He becomes paranoid. Instead of anxious about, work that he's doing or anything like that, the anxiety becomes people are following me, or I leaked a password for an entire company and everybody's following me and I don't know who I am. And, it mounts and it piles and piles and piles. And at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, how low can you go before you hit absolute rock bottom? And I've never been at rock bottom before, but I completely just empathize with the situation that he was in because I don't know if I would be able to recover from what he was going through. So his entire life, he worked for one thing. He got the thing, he left the thing, and now he's in a state of drug-induced psychosis. And what do you do in that situation? There was something that NeetCode did every single day when he was in this state. He would go cry his eyes out, and then go to a parking lot where he would read a message to himself that was something along the lines of, I know this job wasn't for me, but if I keep going to therapy and if I keep trying, I know I'll get better eventually. There's this thing called the Serenity Prayer, which a lot of like alcoholics and a lot of people who are recovering from drugs, they read it. It's like, God, give me the strength to realize I can change the things that I can, and I can't change the things that I can't. And I think that's essentially what he basically went through. You know, he didn't like have anything other than that, right? And so this leads me to my next point. Like, what do you do? You're reading the Serenity Prayer, you're living your life, and it's just not working. He has to find something. And what he found was LeetCode. And that brings me to the less sad part of this video and the more happy part about it, the engineering part of it, right? So if you don't know what LeetCode is a place where you can study data structures and algorithms on a free website to prepare for company interviews. This is like one of the biggest barriers to entry for like most software companies. You have to be pretty good at LeetCode in order to get into like Google, Meta, Facebook, Netflix, all these big companies, because they want to make sure that you have the skills to basically output the work that they expect of you. So Navdeep starts doing a LeetCode problem every single day, and he sucked at it in the beginning. Like, he was really bad. And I think that's completely okay to say, because guess what? I still suck at it currently. And a lot of people who probably are software engineers right now who are living their best lives also sucked at data structures and algorithms, because it's hard and it's not easy. But if you do something repetitively and you keep doing it over a long period of time, you will get better. And this is kind of that engineering mindset that I want you viewers to understand. So Navdeep is here. He's in a situation where he is in a drug-induced psychosis. Not everything is going well for him in life. And he just has one thing, and that's solving LeetCode problems every single day. If you go to his channel right now, NeetCode.io, you can see that NeetCode has been making a video a day about solving a LeetCode problem for the past 2 to 3 years. Now think about that. Every single day, he did one thing to improve himself and make himself better. This is what an engineer does. This is what a good person who is trying to recover, who is trying to be better, does. Don't think that you have to become the best version of yourself by finding some spiritual awakening or by doing something crazy. The way that you improve yourself is through persistence and trying again. And that's exactly what NeetCode Navdeep did. Every single day, he posted a video on LeetCode, how to solve a problem. And eventually, enough people saw that his explanations were good that they started asking, hey, can you teach a course? Hey, can you help me structure my learning a little bit better? And you know what he did? He created his own website, NeetCode.io. And on this website, here's where you can find an entire course showing how you can learn data structures and algorithms in a much simpler and effective way. And go check out the website if you don't know what it is, but think about it. He also got another job offer while he was in this state of like psychosis and, still doing the LeetCode from Google. And he went to Google, he worked there for I think a year or two, and then he left because he just wanted to focus on NeetCode. And that is like even cooler to me. Like he is the embodiment of a true engineer, because an engineer just wants to solve problems for the most amount of people. At Google, I'm certain he was solving problems, but there's also like layers of abstraction and things that are kind of hard to do in like a bureaucratic company or like big companies, big tech companies especially. And so what he did was he leveraged himself most. He knew that he could make people's lives better and actually support and help society by making NeetCode, and that's exactly what he did. He kept making those videos, he kept refining his explanations, and eventually he became and is now known as the premier place for you to learn data structures and algorithms. It's what I learned, it's what millions of other software engineers learn from, and it's honestly redefined what software engineering is to the entire world. There is a quote that NeetCode says at the very end of his video. When you're consistent, never stay down, enjoy what you do, maybe obsess over it, and are honest with yourself, and maybe a little self-critical, you tell me, would you bet against someone like that? I wouldn't, and for that reason, I'm not going to bet against myself. My name is Matt from the Live Company. I hope you learned something, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my newsletter. There, I write about self-improvement, engineering, and my journey as a content creator and engineer. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.